My name is Elena Morgan. I'm 38. And right now I'm standing in the middle of a coastal resort in Bar Harbor, Maine, pretending not to hear my Aunt Marlene chirp that I forgot the vinaigrette, again, like I'm the help. I'm not. I'm a transportation systems architect. For over a decade, I've been designing smart highways and mobility networks all over the Northeast. But to the Morgans, especially Marlene, I'm still just quiet Elena, the niece who does something with computers. They don't ask. They assume I'm tagging along. I've gotten used to fading into the wallpaper during these summer getaways. Every August, they rent the same oceanfront estate, sweeping views, gleaming oak floors, nautical decor that practically groans with old money. I show up, smile politely, and try not to wince when they forget, again, that I'm vegan, or that I already arranged the charcuterie board, or that I exist. But this summer is different. Because this year, I'm not just another guest. I'm the reason the booking system changed. I'm the one who arranged the new catering options. I'm the one who ended the Morgan family's legacy discount. Because I own the place. They just don't know it yet. Let me rewind. I've been married to Jonathan for 12 years. He's a brilliant marine biologist, kind, thoughtful, but allergic to conflict, especially when it comes to his family. Not when they handed me a broom after dinner. Not when they called me unassuming. Not even when Marlene introduced me to her yacht club friends as John's wife who codes, or something. It stung, especially since I clawed my way through college, built a career from scratch, and started investing while juggling student debt and rent. So I stayed quiet, focused. 7 years ago, I started buying into hospitality ventures through a private trust. Most of the time, it was business. But when Highshore Retreat, the Morgans' beloved summer haven, went up for sale last year, I didn't hesitate, I bought it. It drained nearly every liquid asset I had, but the investment made sense. And, if I'm being honest, a part of me wanted to own the one place they assumed was untouchable. Now I'm at the welcome dinner, wearing a faded sea moon cotton dress while everyone else glides around in silk and linen. They're sipping Chardonnay and arguing over whether the 2025 Lucid Air is sleeker than the new Tesla. Jonathan's cousin taps my arm. Could you be a dear and grab more cocktail napkins from the kitchen? I wasn't headed that way. I went anyway. Because I don't need to prove anything. Not tonight. Tomorrow, at the evening wine reception, the resort director will raise a glass and announce a new majority shareholder. When they ask who, he'll turn to me. Marlene's expression? Worth every penny. Later that night, I sat on our suite's balcony, watching the moon ripple across the Atlantic. Down by the fire pit, the family laughed and roasted marshmallows, like something out of a high-end lifestyle spread. I could hear them. I just wasn't one of them. Not really. From the moment I married Jonathan, I knew I didn't fit. Not in a way anyone would say aloud, just quiet signals. Marlene's syrupy smile when she asked where I got my shoes. How practical. Or the way she'd blink when I talked shop, like I was reciting a foreign language. Or the time she muttered, just loud enough for me to hear, she's nice, but not exactly polished, is she? Jonathan didn't push back. He'd squeeze my hand and whisper, she means well. In the early years, I tried. I hosted holidays, brought thoughtful gifts, helped plan trips. One year, I organized his father's entire retirement party, venue, food, the works. At the dinner, Jonathan's sister thanked everyone, spouses, staff, the florist. She skipped me. Jonathan kissed my cheek. You did most of it, he whispered. But he never said it out loud. That was the pattern. A week before our 3rd anniversary, his cousin Camille pulled me aside. It's actually impressive you've lasted this long, she said. Most people who marry into this family fade out. She smiled like it was praise. I smiled back. That night I cried in the shower, water turned all the way up so he wouldn't hear. Eventually, I stopped trying. I turned inward, focused on work, on building something of my own. That's when I started investing, quietly, strategically. I skipped trips, worked 14-hour days, drove the same car past 200,000 miles. They assumed I was scraping by. They had no idea I was preparing. Last summer, we came back to Highshore. Same salt-laced breeze, Same bluff overlooking the sea. At dinner, Jonathan's uncle joked about how surprisingly handy I was for someone without a trust fund. Everyone laughed, even Jonathan. I sat frozen, jaw clenched so tight I couldn't eat the next day. That night, through the paper-thin walls of our suite, I heard Marlene on the phone. She's sweet, harmless, but she'll never be one of us. You can just tell. Something cracked, not because it was cruel, because it was final. The next morning, I sent an email to an old colleague who'd gone into hotel acquisitions. 4 months later, I bought Highshore. They still don't know. Not Marlene. Not Jonathan. No one. The papers are signed. The ink is dry. Welcome to my retreat. I kept everything discreet, same manager. Quiet renovations. Subtle shifts in policy. But tomorrow night, at the annual ownership summit, my name will be announced. And that's when they'll find out, the Morgan legacy discounts are gone. Next summer, they'll pay full price, just like everyone else. Jonathan doesn't know, not because I'm hiding it. He's just never asked. Never wondered why I've been flying back and forth, taking late-night Zooms with architects and attorneys. He's a good man, kind, but he's never truly seen me, and after 10 years, I've stopped asking to be seen. Tomorrow isn't about revenge. It's about visibility, on my own terms. If you've ever been underestimated, overlooked, or quietly built something powerful in the shadows, stay tuned. You'll want to see what happens next. Tap subscribe. Don't miss the moment Elena steps into the light, and everyone else finally sees her. And if they can't handle the glare? That's their problem. The morning started like every other one here. Mimosas on the terrace, eggs Florentine plated like sculpture, a long table of Morgans talking over each other like they were auditioning for Succession. I sat at the far end, stirring oat milk into my coffee while Camille declared the service not what it used to be. Everyone joined in, like complaining was a team sport. The front desk asked for my ID. Camille huffed, flipping her hair like a cross-examiner. The valet looked at me like I stole my own car. Stuart added, offended. I said nothing, just sipped. Then came the one that almost made me crack my mug. I just miss when this place had soul. Lauren sighed. You could tell it was family-owned. Now it's clearly just some faceless corporation trying to be fancy. Jonathan nodded, absent-mindedly, obliviously. Yeah, heard it's owned by some holding company now. Probably never even been to Maine. That same soulless corporation? We're the ones who installed bay filtration systems, upgraded the HVAC in every cottage, switched staff uniforms to fair trade fabrics, and finally paid the housekeeping team a livable wage. But sure, let's pine for the good old days when the rose was free and the mildew came complimentary. What broke me wasn't their ignorance, it was Jonathan. He didn't ask why I kept walking the grounds with the facilities manager, didn't ask about the late-night calls with legal teams, never once wondered if I might be the reason the lights stayed on. I thought that would be the hardest part. Until dinner. Darlene had secured the private dining hall. Dress code, formal resort chic. I wore a navy sheath I'd bought on clearance last winter, and the same nude heels I wore to my college graduation. She looked me over like I was a Craigslist sofa. By the entree, they were back at it. Who renovates the pool deck in August? Lauren griped. Probably some tech exec who thinks a resort's just a startup with linens. Marcus added, I'd love to give whoever's in charge a few tips. Jonathan leaned toward me. Maybe we should leave a review, he whispered. I didn't reply. I was busy swallowing the burn in my chest. Then Darlene lifted her glass, smiling with weaponized sweetness. Well, I just hope whoever bought this place remembers. Families like ours made it what it is. We're not just guests, she said, swirling her wine. We're the reason this place has value. I stared at her. Not just the arrogance, the certainty, the way she still believed the world spun around her checkbook. I stood, quiet and calm, and stepped out into the night. The sea breeze hit my face like a rinse of clarity. I gripped the stone railing and listened. Inside, someone played piano, low, slow, and sharp enough to tighten my ribs. I pulled out my phone and dialed Ethan. He picked up on the second ring. Hey, boss, you ready? I glanced back through the window. They were laughing. Probably about me. Do it, I said. Announce it before dessert. You sure you don't want to be in the room? No, I said softly. Let them sit in it. I ended the call. A few minutes later, Ethan stepped forward, glass in hand, and tapped. Silence fell instantly. I couldn't hear the words, but I knew them by heart. As part of our ownership transition, Clear Pines Hospitality Group is proud to announce full acquisition of Highshore Retreat, and tonight, we'd like to recognize the person behind that change. I walked in as he reached the end. Mercy Elena Morgan. Silence. Clean, heavy, perfect. My heels echoed on hardwood. I made my way toward the table. Every head turned. Lauren dropped her fork. Camille's jaw hung open. Darlene's wine glass tipped and bled across the white linen, but she didn't blink. And Jonathan. He looked at me like he was seeing me for the first time. I stopped just short of him. You wanted to leave a review, John, I said, voice even. I'd be happy to forward it to myself. Ever seen a table freeze mid-sentence, mid-sip, realizing they'd been trashing the owner 2 chairs away? Multiply that by 10. Add 3 generations of entitlement. That was the dining hall. Marcus dropped his phone. Darlene's sister choked on her tart. Someone actually whispered, "Wait, her?" like I was a ghost in heels. And Jonathan, he didn't know whether to feel awe, shame, or just the sting of being irrelevant in his own narrative. I didn't wait for dessert. I walked to the head of the table, Darlene's usual throne, and picked up the mic Ethan had left behind. My hands, steady. I looked around the table, faces frozen, flushed with confusion, embarrassment. And I smiled. Don't worry, I said, you're all still welcome here, just like everyone else now. A silence so thick, you could plate it and call it creme brulee. No more complimentary upgrades, no special bookings, no legacy family discounts. Being a Morgan doesn't mean free anymore. I handed the mic to the pianist. Walked out before anyone could clap out of guilt. In the hallway, I exhaled. Something inside me cracked loose, not from rage, from relief. For the first time in a decade, I wasn't performing. I wasn't shrinking to make them comfortable. I wasn't asking to belong. I was choosing myself. The next morning, I skipped brunch. Let them sit in it. Instead, I walked the grounds with Ethan, clipboard in hand, checking the solar-paneled lakefront cabins. Staff nodded as I passed. Guests smiled. And for the first time, I didn't feel like Jonathan's wife. I felt seen. By noon, Camille texted, "Hey, can we talk?" I ignored it. 5 minutes later, a knock. Jonathan. His eyes uncertain. "Elena," he said, Are you okay?" I studied him. He wasn't cruel. That's what made it worse. "You never asked," I said, "not once." He blinked, asked what? What I do, why I stay up late, where I go when I travel. I didn't think I needed to. Exactly. No yelling, no tears. Just truth and silence. Eventually, he turned and walked away. That evening was the legacy cocktail hour. I almost canceled it. Didn't need to. I repurposed it. The room sparkled with designer labels and thinly veiled panic. I waited until mid-toast, then stepped up. "Good evening," I said into the mic. "Some of you know me, some of you thought you did." Nervous chuckles, tight smiles. I clicked to the first slide. An aerial render, Highshore's expansion. We're adding eco cabins, a wellness spa, a dock for a new kayaking program. All funded by a new initiative. I paused. The Morgan Women's Fund. Eyes lit up, smiles widened until I continued. It's named after my mother, Cecilia Morgan. Not their Morgan. Mine. She cleaned motel rooms along the Oregon coast for 16 years, raised me alone. Taught me that respect is earned, not inherited. Marlene's smile dropped like a curtain. Then came the twist. Final slide. Oh, and starting next season, we'll be reviewing all long-term vacation property partnerships, especially legacy leases. No elaboration needed. They knew. Jonathan's uncle held 2 sweetheart cabins. Camille, Sublet hers under her husband's name. Marlene's sister rented out a wing for profit. And now, I held every renewal in my hand. I smiled. Thank you for being part of our history. I walked off stage. Marcus caught me at the door. Elena, can we talk? Sure, I said. Book through guest services like everyone else now. 3 days later, I watched the sunrise from the dock. The water was still, like it had exhaled with me. By noon, my inbox was chaos. Jonathan's uncle requested an extension. Camille left a voice memo saying misunderstanding 5 times. Marlene's voicemail was laced with saccharine. Elena, sweetheart, let's talk, woman to woman. Right. The same woman who once told me, engineers slouch, you should fix that, it's unladylike. I wasn't angry. I was precise. By week's end, my legal team flagged every lease. Camille had earned $40,000 subletting. We didn't chase the money. We sent the tax records to the state. She got her audit. I sent her the name of a CPA. Jonathan's uncle's lease expired. He got 30 days. Then we donated the cabin to a non-profit for disabled veterans. They moved in by July. And Marlene? She showed up, unannounced. Pearls clutching, eyes pleading. She talked about appearances, about Jonathan's image. I let her. Then handed her the envelope I'd had ready for days. Inside, documentation of harassment claims from 3 former staff. I'd already issued apologies, closed the cases. But if she played the victim? The press release was ready. She left shaking. Jonathan never defended her. Instead, he asked hard questions. Of himself, of us. There were tears. There were truths. And finally, I told him. I didn't stay to be accepted. I stayed hoping you'd see me. But now I see myself. And that's enough. If you've ever been underestimated, or made to feel invisible, I see you. Share your story in the comments. And if this hit close to home, tap subscribe. Not just for me, for you. For anyone still holding their breath, waiting to be seen. You don't need permission to take up space. You already have it.